say mathematics is that among the most useless subjects in the whole world.
These are 5 useless things that we learned while we were in school. Number 3, and most annoying of them all these mathematical complex equations. How many of you have finished school and had to use this thing?
You see, this post right here is why Nigerian youth will always find themselves in the trap of gambling. And I don't blame the poster. You see, the fact that poster has no idea what we have achieved with the knowledge of mathematics wraps up the idea of today's talk. Many of our youths, they only attend mathematics class, but they can't apply mathematics to daily life. And that is why they keep finding themselves in gambling trap. The human brain is capable of many incredible things. We have been able to craft simple tools, and from there we are able to even send rockets to space. But there is one thing our brain struggles to comprehend, and that is probability and statistics. So we find it difficult to grasp the randomness that is inherent in every event. Even though the statistics and probability is right there in front of us, we still find it very difficult to understand that probability. But rather, we often rely on our intuition, believing that we can predict the outcome, and we ignore the randomness that are at play. See, this inability to fully understand probability is something that all these sporty bets and bookmakers and casinos, they have taken advantage of. So in today's video, I'm going to show you why you keep losing money in sports bet and how the psychology bias in our brain, how it leads us to misunderstand probability, not just in gambling, but also in our life. Now let's start with the basic probability. Probability is just simple. It's the likelihood of an event happening, and it ranges from impossible, which is denoted as 0, to certain, which is denoted as 1. So for example, imagine you flip a coin and there are 2 possible outcomes, head or tail. So if the coin is a fair coin, the probability of each outcome is 0.5, that is 50%, and it's simple, right?
That was easy.
Okay, but this concept is what is not usually taught in school, and even though it's sometimes taught in school, we still find it difficult to apply it to our everyday life. And this is what the bookmakers and sports company, betting companies, this is what they take advantage of to exploit you of your own money. Let us do a simple mathematics here. Now let's assume you want to place a bet on flipping coin. Now the odds of landing a head or a tail in a coin flip is 2 odds for each. Now the odd reflects the probability of the event happening. So that means for every 100 naira you bet, you should get 200 naira. That is your stake plus your profit will give you the win. That is if you win. Now the formula for calculating the implied probability from the odds is 1 over the odds. If you are landing head or tail, it is 2 odds. Implied probability will be 1 over 2, which is 0.5, which is 50%. Landing tail, the implied probability is 50%. If you are landing head, the implied probability is also 50%. So that means the probability of landing either head or tail is 50%. And if you sum up these probabilities, they should total up to 100%, indicating that definitely either of these events is guaranteed to occur. Remember when I said that the certainty of every event is denoted as 1. So 100% is 1. Definitely either head or tail, you will either land head or tail. So adding up the probability of landing a head and the probability of landing a tail, 50-50, we make 100%. But in sports bets, the odds are set by bookmakers to include margin. So this margin is to ensure that they make profit regardless of the outcome. To make a profit, they adjust their own odds downward. Say instead of saying 2 odds for coin flip, they say like 1.90 for either head or tail. Now let's calculate the implied probability if they set the odds to now 1.90. Now implied probability for heads, remember the formula is 1 over the odds. So 1 over 1.90, that is 52.63. And the implied probability for tail, 1 over 1.90 is same 52.63%. So if we add these probabilities together, we get 105.26%. This is greater than 100%, right? This extra 5.2% is the bookmaker's margin, built-in profit for the bookmaker. Now, let's say you bet 100 naira on 100 coin flips, okay? And the bookmaker set the odds at 1.90, and your probability of landing either head or tail is 50%. That means out of 100 coin flips, if you choose head throughout the 100 coin flip, then you should have 50 heads or 50 tails. So assume that you chose heads throughout. For each win, you get 1.90 times 100, which is 190 naira for your payout. Your total payout for 50 wins, assume you have 50 wins, then 50 times 190, that is 9,500. And remember, you stake on 100 coin flip, so your total stake will be 100 times 100, that's 10,000 naira. Let's calculate if you break even or you're gonna make profit or loss. So subtracting this, you will be in a deficit of 500 naira. So even though the coin flip was a perfectly fair coin flip with 50% chance of winning, you still lost 500 naira because the bookmaker adjusted the odds in their favor. Using this mathematics, it automatically disqualifies betting as a long-term investment for me. I know you may be doubtful because this analogy that I just used, maybe it's coming from, it doesn't reflect the football bet that we do. So now I got you. Let us go into recent game. I will pick a recent game and still explain why football bet is not an investment. Now, let us pick the Liverpool-Everton match. The odd I saw for Everton win is 6.98. I told you that odds means implied probability, the chances of that event happening. So for Everton win, the implied probability will be 1 over 6.98, which is 14.3%. The odd for Liverpool win set by the bookmaker was 1.48. So the implied probability will be 1 over 1.48, which is 0.676. That means 67.6%. But for the draw, odd set was 4.97. The implied probability is 1 over 4.97, which is 0.201 and 20.1%. The sum of all the implied probabilities for all the outcome should ideally add up to 100%. 4.3 plus 67.6% plus 20.1%, that would be 102%. So that means the bookmaker has built in 2% making overrun, so which is typical for all sport bet bookmakers. Essentially, the bookmaker is ensuring that they make profit in the long run, which makes it more difficult for you as a bettor to win in long term. So you have no idea who will win this game, and therefore you want to try to play safe. Abi? So let's say we want to play safe, and let's say you place 100 naira on each outcome. Your total bet will be 100 naira for Everton win, 100 naira for Liverpool win, and 100 naira for the draw. So that means 300 naira. So now let's calculate how much you will win depending on the result. If Everton wins, you get 100 times 6.98, which is 698 naira. If Everton wins, you eventually have 398 naira. And that's good for you, okay? You're making a profit. But if Liverpool wins, which is more likely, remember the odd set for Liverpool is 1.58, indicating that it is more likely to happen, 67% more likely to happen. If Liverpool wins, you get 100 times 1.48, which is 148 naira. Now, subtract 300 naira from 148, you get 152 naira loss. And if they draw, you get 100 times 4.97, which is 497 naira. Subtract 497 naira from 300, you get 197 profit. The problem with this approach is that you are guaranteed to make loss in the long run if you keep placing bets on each outcome in every event, because there is another mathematical term called expected value. You may think you make profit because look at this analogy. It shows that Everton is not likely to win, and even if Liverpool wins, you are going to make loss placing bets on all outcomes. This is a key concept in probability that helps us understand whether a betting strategy is worth pursuing in the long run or not. So let's say Everton keeps playing Liverpool every week. It's just an hypothetical situation, and you want to invest on same bet with same odds, but want to place on all outcomes. In long run, you will lose more than expected because you can only make profit if only Everton wins or draws, and the chances of Everton winning every time you bet is very low. According to bookmaker, it says 14.3% chance of Everton win. So by the way, remember that Everton is even 15th on the table, like I said, and Liverpool is first. So if Liverpool keeps winning, you keep losing money. So using the implied probabilities and multiplying by your bet amount, you can see that the average return over time will not be enough to cover the bookmaker's margin. So if you win with an outcome like Everton or draw, you would have already placed a losing bet on other two outcomes, and so your net return wouldn't compensate for the margin baked into the odds. Let's take the approach of a dauntless gambler. All those bold bettors that wager against all odds, hoping that just one big win will cover the losses that they might have incurred, using the Everton-Liverpool match as an example. Okay. These gamblers, they will always bet on an Everton win for bold gamblers, okay? Because the stake, the odds is high, 6.98. So it suggests that one victory could bring a substantial profit. Now, imagine Everton and Liverpool play each other 100 times. Now, based on the 14.3 implied probability from the odds, the bookmaker is estimating that Everton has 14.3 chance of winning at any given match against Liverpool, assuming that all conditions stay the same for each match. And in other words, if these teams they were to play 100 matches, you expect that Everton should win 14 of those matches based on those implied odds. This is of course based on the assumption that teams' performance, the injuries and other factors, they all remain constant at all games. Here is where the law of large numbers comes in. Okay, now the law of large numbers states that the average of the result obtained from a large number of independent random samples converge to the true value if it exists. So initially, if you place just a few bets, the actual result might be off from the expected 14 wins. You might see Everton winning like 3 out of 5 matches, or maybe they lose 7 matches in a row. That's the randomness you are dealing with. However, as the number of the matches increases, the outcome will start to align more closely with the expected probability. That means the probability of Everton winning here is 14 wins out of 100. The more bets you place, the more predictable the average outcome becomes. So over a long stretch of matches, now the randomness evens out and the result will start, you will start reflecting the true probabilities. Now let us calculate if you will eventually make profit based on the assumption. Let's say $1 bet on Everton to win for each of the 100 matches. So you will bet $100 in total of 100 matches. That means 100 bets times $1. Of course, that would be $100. Calculating your wins if Everton wins. Remember that the improbability for Everton to win, according to the odd set by that bookmaker, is 14%. So that means they are likely to win 14 times out of 100 times. So the odd for Everton to win is 6.98. Like I said, that means for every $1 bet, you will win 6.98 if Everton win. So for each of the 14 wins, your total payout will be 6.98 times 14, which is 97.72. So your net profit or loss, the loss of $2.28. So you will be at a loss of $2.28 after 100 bets. This loss happens because the expected payout from each win, which is 6.98, is not enough to cover all the bets you place. So essentially, the odds offered by the bookmaker, 6.98, is not high enough to overcome the number of losses. That means 86 losses that you might have incurred over a large number of bets. So this is an important concept in sports betting. Long-term probability is heavily impacted by the odds offered and the probability of winning, especially when you are betting on an outcome with relatively low probability, such as that of Everton winning against Liverpool. I know some of you may still argue that maybe it's Everton, they don't win. So what if I bet on a team that is always likely to win, and you believe that you can still make a good return by betting on this team that they are always winning with high win rate throughout the league season? So now, while this may sound logical, there are several factors to consider if you hope to make a profit by the end of the season betting on teams that is guaranteed to win. And even if you do make profit, trust me, it is likely to be short-changed in the long run. Now, let's start with some realism here. So no team has ever achieved 100% win rate in 38 matches in a league season. Even the legendary Arsenal Invincible in 2003-4 that went unbeaten, they only managed 26 wins, 12 draws. So giving them 72% win rate. Now let's break this down. Now imagine you decide to bet $1 on every Arsenal match that season, always betting on them to win. So and based on my research that I did, the average odds bookmaker offered for Arsenal win range from 1.37 to 1.54 as at then. So for simplicity, let us use the highest odd I saw. And the highest odd I saw was 1.54 odds. So we'll be using 1.54 odds for the calculation. Now let's jump into it. According to the bookmaker that apportioned 1.54 odds for each Arsenal win, the bookmaker implied that the probability for Arsenal winning is 64.94%. So however, based on Arsenal's impressive record in 2003-4 season, 26 wins out of 38 matches, now the true probability of Arsenal winning is 26/38, which is approximately 72%. And compared to the price probability set by the bookmaker, 64.9%. The true probability suggests that Arsenal had 72% chance of winning, while the odd reflects 64.94% chance of winning. Now, the bookmaker has reduced the payout odd to ensure that even if Arsenal wins a lot, they are paying out less than the true risk of those wins. This is how they build in their margin and then guarantee a profit. So even if Arsenal won most of their matches in that 2003-4 season, now the odds of 1.54 meant that you were not being fully rewarded for the true likelihood of their success. So over time, this discrepancy between true probabilities and bookmaker odds will erode your profitability. Now the bookmaker's margin ensures that even if you win occasionally, you are losing value on every bet. And despite this, then why are you addicted to gambling? Already, I know that the hardcore gamblers watching this, they might argue that there is always a smarter way to hit the jackpot in sports betting. So using betting accumulators, they can hit jackpots. But now, let me break it down to you. Accumulators, they are trap.
Run.
They are real trap. Now, sure, the bonus makes the potential payout, they make it look irresistible. But the harsh reality is that your chances of winning drop significantly with every additional selection you add. Don't just take my word for it. Let us break it down with some simple mathematics. Assuming that you bet on 5 matches, each with 1.43 odds. The implied probability for that match is 1/1.43, which is 70%. but the probability of all 5 winning will be 0.7 in 5 places, I mean. So that is 16.8%. So indicating that your chances of winning reduces from 70% for one bet to 16.8% for accumulating more bets you feel are sure. So simply put, there is an 83.2% chance you will lose the bet no matter how safe the matches seem. Additionally, the multiplier bonus the bookmaker offer is nothing more than thorns wrapped in candy. So it looks sweet to you, but it's designed to make you bleed. Now, this is a clever strategy that bookmakers they use to increase the overall margin. Remember that every single bet you place already has the bookmaker's margin baked into the odds. So when you combine multiple bets in an accumulator, those margins they multiply, giving the bookmaker an even bigger edge. Yes, a single accumulator win might deliver a very massive payout, but the truth is that vast majority of such bets they end in losses. This keeps the gamblers hooked, chasing the idea of hitting jackpot, even though the long-term expected value is heavily negative. And if that wasn't enough, bookmakers they also use bonus promos. They use it to prey on your fear of missing out. So when you see something like promotions like 50% bonus on 10 matches, so it increases a sense of urgency and illusion of a limited time opportunity. And the reality is just another tactic to encourage riskier bets that favor the bookmaker. Despite all these traps and all these warnings, so why are you still addicted to gambling?
Stop it. Get some help.
To understand this, we need to dive into the psychology of gamblers. So, number one reason, the thrill of uncertainty. Is it placing a bet or engaging in any gambling activity? What does it give you? It gives you anticipation. So this mere anticipation of winning, it creates a thrill that triggers the brain reward system, releasing dopamine, and this can be very, very addictive. Regardless of whether the outcome is a win or loss, you become very addicted.
So one of my worst experience gambling was 2019 when I went to prison because of gambling.
You what?
I went to prison because of gambling, yes.
And when people come close to winning, for example, 4 out of 5 bets in an accumulator was true, it can give you the illusion that a win is just around the corner. So it will motivate you again. And what do? You find yourself coming back again to give it another try.
Make I mark there one person with the same code. Oh God.
Secondly, the illusion of control. So let me ask you something. Have you ever placed a bet and felt like, this ticket is 1,001 sure?
Talking to you now, this moment of my life, I'm a new taker. I got you want him now. Hey.
Like you have a full knowledge of the game, you have that gut feeling it's going to be 100% sure. This is a good example of what we call illusion of control. Now, it is that idea that you think you have some influence over the outcome, even when it is completely random. Now, think about it. Whether it's a football match or a spin on a slot machine, so many factors are beyond your control. But we trick ourselves into believing that because we know the team's form or we've got a winning strategy, we can beat the odds. And in reality, it's just chances playing with your mind. And that illusion keeps you coming back for more.
I don't say one day God could do it. See ya.
Now, number 3, the inability to understand probability and randomness. As for this, generally humans, we are incapable of understanding probability and randomness.
That's true. That's true. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. I mean,
so a lot of us, we think that wins and losses follow a predictable pattern. We feel like after long wins, there will be some losses and then come back wins. And that is not how it works. Take this for example. Have you ever lost several bets in a row and thought a win has to come next? That's gambler's fallacy at work. Gambler's fallacy. They believe that because you've been losing, a win is somehow due. But here is the truth. Each bet is independent. The outcome of the next bet isn't affected by what has happened before. So it's like flipping a coin. Even if you get heads 5 times in a row, the odds of tails on the next flip are still 50%. Then there is the hot hand fallacy. When you are on a winning streak and you think your luck will keep going, so you start placing riskier bets. It feels like you are on fire. But in reality, it's just randomness playing tricks on your mind. Wins and losses don't follow any pattern. They are independent events, and believing otherwise is how gamblers, how they get trapped. The 4th one is hope and chasing shadow of one big win.
I just wish I had like a huge wiener.
For some, especially those poor degenerate gamblers, they feel like gambling is a way out of their mess. They feel that it's a way out of their miserable life. See, if you are struggling with money the idea of turning a small bet into life-changing payout, it will be incredibly tempting for you. So you always feel like that one big win will fix all my problems. Yes, we have people like this. They will take their school fee to go and gamble. But for others, it's not just about money. Some people, for some gamblers, they just gamble to escape out of emotional state, to distract themselves from stress or boredom. Maybe you are frustrated with life and then gambling offers that little thrill or moment of excitement. You feel good in that moment, but the long-term consequences can be very, very devastating. So, especially when you keep chasing that feeling or hoping for that big win to solve all your problems. Another one is fear of missing out. Like I said, sometimes you don't want to bet and you have vowed never to bet from the best side. But as you are surfing the net, you now saw an ad like 50% extra bonus. Then suddenly the odd not to miss out will kick in. And that is what we call fear of missing out, FOMO. So bookmakers, they know exactly how to trigger this, and they throw out these limited time offers and flashy bonuses to create that sense of urgency in you, making you feel like you will lose an amazing opportunity if you don't act right now. So here is the thing. Those promos are designed to push you into betting, even when you wouldn't normally. They make you focus on the potential reward without thinking about the risk. So it is like they are saying everyone is cashing out. Don't be left out. In reality, these offers are just another way to get you to place a riskier bet that favor the bookmaker. Now, another reason is cognitive bias. There is something called the sunk cost fallacy. Imagine you've lost a few bets and you think, I've already spent so much, so I can't stop now. It's not possible. I need to win those money back.
It's too late. What's done is done.
No.
That mindset makes you double down on your losses. Walking away will be a smarter choice for you. You know that within your mind, but deep within you, you don't want to walk out. You keep digging into that hole. That I need to win back my losses. That is a very, very tricky reason why you keep finding yourself in that gambling fallacy. So now there is this power of intermittent reward. So this happens when you make a good win after some losses, and then you feel on top of the world, forgetting your previous losses. Wins are unpredictable and they come just often enough to keep you chasing the next one. That rush of excitement when you win, they make you forget all the time you lost. It's like a psychological trap, bro, keeping you waiting for the next big reward, even if it never comes. So the last one is overconfidence.
You expect to win 35 million with 500 naira.
See, overconfidence and ego, they are dangerous combo in gambling. A lot of gamblers, especially in sport bet, think they are smarter than the bookmaker. Maybe you follow those games closely and then you know all the stars and even every press conference you are there. So it makes you feel that you have that edge and you have cracked a little code to beat the bookmaker. But my brother, here's the truth. Bookmakers, they set the odds with far more data and expertise that you could ever have. So don't think of it. Overestimating your skill or knowledge leads you to make that risky bet because you are convinced you will outsmart the system. This kind of overconfidence doesn't just hurt your wallet. It will reinforce the behavior that makes you take even bigger risks, thinking that you will eventually prove you are right. But in reality, the bookmaker has an upper hand. And finally, if everything that I've explained about probability or expected value, all those jargons that I've said, if it is new to you, then it is likely that you have been gambling without truly understanding the game. That lack of awareness might have kept you betting over and over, unaware of the system, of how the system is designed. But now that you know the truth, you've learned about concepts like EV and how odds are calculated. Now the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? It's up to you to smarten up and make better decisions from here on out. So I will see you in the next video. Wow. So look, this video might not get the kind of promotion that some others do because well, we are talking about something that affect the business of some of those big social media sponsors of Nigeria. So, but I am not asking for much. All I need for you is to help me like and share it. Please let me share this video. This channel is my baby and it's just starting out. This is actually my second video. Yeah, second one. And guess what? Of course, you know now, since it's my second video, I am not monetized yet. So everything you see here, the editing, the whiteboard animation, all of it was done by me. It took me hundreds of hours. You can see my eyes red. So I know no money to outsource that stuff yet, but I am doing my best to make it work. So please, if you enjoyed the video, help me grow it by sharing it. Let's get this message out there and share at a time. Thank you. I trust you. You help me. Abi, thank you.